Pretty soon we'll be having a Twisted Metal show coming to Peacock within a couple of days, so I thought I would get this out of the way and review some of the other Twisted Metal games that I've personally played. If you haven't seen any review that I talk about Twisted Metal, that's mainly because I haven't really played that one. So I thought I would just start with the first game, considering we're talking about Twisted Metal here. So the story behind this game is that let me see this. Callisto is running a contest called Twisted Metal, and whoever wins in this tournament gets to meet him and be granted a wish, but only one wish. But the only problem with those wishes is that sometimes it can come true, or sometimes it could be quite the opposite of exactly what you want. So the first game was actually made from single track, and it came out as a PlayStation exclusive, but in Japan it got a Windows release, which is pretty odd. So not the first time Sony's actually put out computer games then, isn't it? But anyways, you select whichever character that you desire to play, and you can go driving and shooting and throwing missiles and traps and whatever else it may be. Now the game kind of starts a little bit slow first, but once you get going, you'll have a fun time playing this game. You can play as anyone you want. Each of them has their own strengths and weaknesses in terms of speed, power, and defense. You can actually play this game up to like 2 players, which is pretty common when it comes to PlayStation, considering they've been lacking 4-player support. But they did put out some adapters that allows you to play more than just 2 players, which I think was a big mistake, considering Nintendo 64 and the Dreamcast have both gotten 4-player support. But unfortunately for PlayStation 2, Sony made the same exact mistake as they made in the past. But anyways, let's get back to what we're talking about. It's Twisted Metal here. So you drive around, you shoot, you kill all the opponents, and then you advance to the next level, which is the main idea of this. There's healing items, there's missiles. You can also shoot turrets out of your own vehicle, which can also help deal some damage. It's not going to do a lot of damage, but it'll do something for you. And when it came out too, the game actually it gotten positive reviews, and this will be one of the games in the PlayStation Classic lineup. Each character in the game has their own different endings. Now here's the thing about this. Originally there were supposed to be full motion videos for this one, but they ended up using screenshots along with the scripted lines on the picture for itself for you guys to read. I don't know why, considering that later games use full motion video for each ending, kinda just makes no sense to me if they're gonna go to that direction. And I say this that because the full motion videos, you can actually find them in Twisted Metal Head-On Extra Twisted Edition, which is the PS2 exclusive. I thought I would just point that out right there, considering it's kind of strange that they did this, despite there actually being different games of Twisted Metal that uses full motion, including in the PS1 by all means. You actually have some lives in the game too while added, and if you run out of lives, the game is over. There's also password saves and memory card saves, whatever. But anyways, the game does have a few different difficulties, but here's one problem. If you choose the easy difficulty, you're not going to play as much levels as you probably hope. The only problem is that if you play on easy mode, the game's going to tell you that's enough playing, go play on normal and whatever else. So meaning you actually have to play normal or higher in order to beat the game. So yeah, when it came to like weapons wise, they also got like automatic lock-on weapons, or some you need to manually lock on, or some that can be just tossed like a catapult or whatever else, or mines like I was saying before. So make sure you plan out carefully and how to defeat your enemies, and then you advance to the next level, and you still gotta think about that. My advice is that I would just keep collecting these weapons, and then after that, you keep going to shoot all those other enemies. I find it strange too, because enemies don't really seem to really shoot each other much as you do. I just feel like it's weird how the game forces you to only kill them and not the rest of the other ones, which kind of makes no sense to me if it's just going to be a free-for-all kind of match. So anyways, the game was also a commercial success by 1996, and both Twisted Metal and Warhawk has sold over 5,000 copies combined, and it would generate $28 million in revenue. But for North America, Twisted Metal sold over 1 million copies alone, and they re-released the game in 1997 as part of the Greatest Hits budget. The Greatest Hits is always like, if the game is a bestseller, then you might have to go grab that and see for yourself as to why the game is a bestseller. Not many games do these great hits things or anything like that anymore, which is sad. It kind of just would tell you like, hey, this is our like #1 game or whatever else, or at least one #1 games, and you should definitely get it. So the game has seen some re-releases, like on the PS3 as a PS1 Classic port, along with the PlayStation Classic, and now recently the PS4 and the PS5, which run in higher resolution and trophy support. So what's weird too is that Sweet Tooth was originally looking like a generic clown, but despite that, his truck still has that blazing hot-headed clown logo, which is weird. Because in the second game, they ended up redesigning him altogether. At least doesn't look like a generic clown anymore, which is cool. So anyways, what did you guys think about Twisted Metal growing up? I'd like to hear some stuff from you about Twisted Metal. Tell me what kind of Twisted Metal game you guys pretty much like. And what about some Twisted Metal clones you guys probably may or may have never heard of. But let me know what you guys played. And I'll see you then.